Howdy all. Just want to provide another quick update on the status of physics because I did not meet that June release date. Mod's still coming soon. It's still happening. Main delay has been just Rainbow Gem content has taken more time than expected. But I don't have a firm release date right now because, again, I'm going to be gone for at least a week. I'm leaving in, oh gosh, less than 24 hours. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, I don't want to give a firm release date and then something comes up and I just don't have it ready in time. So, coming soon, but I don't want to just sit here and go, mod's coming soon. YouTube comment sections, mod's coming soon. It's gonna happen. Like I'm jangling keys in front of you or something. At least I don't want to do that with nothing to show, so that's what this video is for. I'm going to talk in more detail about some of this content. I'm going to show off some of it. I am not going to show off all of it, because I want to avoid spoilers. Well, you know, major spoilers, but a little bit will be spoiled. So, if you don't want to see that, but you do want just a quick recap, mod's coming. Rainbow Gem content is what's the current holdup on it. There are also a few concerns I have with compatibility. Working on ironing those out. I mean, the thing itself works, but the ideal is that, like, every Chronos mod is just compatible with each other. And that might be a little too lofty of an ambition. We'll see. Again, I'll talk about that in more detail a bit later. But there's some cool stuff coming along. So, that's a quick recap, but if you want to listen to me ramble a bit more, this video might get a little lengthy, but I'll show off some cool stuff. Like this free cam. It's actually a editor for camera coordinates, which are used for scripting some new events, but the debug information is not currently on screen. Because there's so much debug information in this mod right now, and I didn't want to just pollute everything. Anyways, the main thing I've been working on is the Rainbow Gem content. I mentioned in the last video that I kind of wanted to flex with it, and I didn't really go into more detail than that. So in this, let me show off what I mean by that. So Sonic 06 has a fair bit of RPG DNA, honestly, which is a genre I've always really liked. I mean, Sonic Adventure 1 had a bit of that too. The systems are very flexible, like the scripting that you can do, the amount of things you can do with townsmen, town citizens, the people in the town. It's crazy, and the game never really does that. Or at least it never requires you to interact with that. And so I thought, you know, I like quests, I like post-game content. What if I did that for Rainbow Gem? What if I just sat down and made this little adventure for you? And that's what I've done. And not going to show off all of it. I don't have an exact length for it, because it isn't finished yet. But with how it's shaping up, I'd say it's probably going to be like 10 to 20 minutes in total. It spans all 3 hub worlds, it has some new stage layouts, and it has some new mechanics. Things that I've made for Chronos or physics and just never really had a chance to show off before, for one reason or another. And you're going to see some of those in just a second. So the sort of inciting event here is that something's going on at the old castle here, and it's your job to investigate. And as you run up here, you'll get treated to this. Yeah, that's a cinematic done entirely through code. I mean, I made a little bit of an edit here to start the thing in the first place, and of course that NPC had to be placed in the object layout file, but camera movement and everything is all through code, and it's pretty easy to do. You just take the editor, which normally displays coordinates on screen, set up a few key points, and then use some of the functions that I've written to interpolate camera movement and everything. This is the first cinematic that you'll come across, or at least right now. I might add one earlier, but they get much more complex later. You can add in other characters, you can script what Sonic does, much more than that. You can even script objects, and more sounds, and particle effects, and there's a lot you can do. If you like making little cinematic moments like that in your levels, or if you like making scenarios like this, Chronos has systems for you. It's actually one of the first things that I set up, and the only chance I've had to use it really just been in this supersonic transformation sequence. So I'm excited to get to do more with that. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the worlds aren't the only things you'll be going through. There are also some stages. Not new stages. I did want to do that for physics, make a new level, and really show off what all you can do. But, Vortex explosion there, 1 second. I have neither the knowledge nor the time to acquire the knowledge to do that properly, so I'll have to settle for object layouts. This stage also has some cool tech going on, which you'll probably be able to notice pretty quickly. This is something that I just got implemented the other day because Ray finally cracked hot swapping lighting values, so I noticed that the sky changes a little bit. We linger around in here. I'll yap about the level design more later, because that's the thing I like talking about, and I'm really happy with what I got to do here. The stage doesn't need physics to progress, but it does enable them. There are a lot of shortcuts and new routes that you can access if you take advantage of physics. But you don't have to. It just opens up cool stuff, and I think that's the right way to do it. But we'll get into that later. There's also the new stuff like, you know, tapping onto ledges. This is not a restoration of the mechanic, to be clear. This is my own take on it, including shuffling along ledges. That animation is from Fen. Thank you again for that. Level designers have to manually specify where the ledges are and everything, so don't think of this as mechanic restoration. It's more so something you can make with Chronos. You can do stuff like this. Make new character states, mechanics. Yeah, like ledges will be a thing that just anyone can add into levels. Same with this day-night cycle. It's not the best. You'll notice that like the shadows aren't changing position, but that can be done. That is completely possible. I did make a real-time lighting editor as well. I don't have that pulled up right now, and you wouldn't be able to appreciate it much without the bug information, but anyways, shadows don't update because I'm not good at doing lighting. I just found a few colors that looked pretty for like sunset and for night, and said, okay, let me interpolate between them, make that happen, and I did. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Anyways, I'll just have some gameplay footage of this in the background. The other main thing with Chronos is the backend stuff, compatibility. So when the project started, there were plans to do a rewrite of the Sonic 06 mod manager. The lead developer on that was Hyper, who, as you may know, ended up working on the Sonic Unleashed recompilation, which is admittedly a much more cool thing, and a much more important one. So, you know, that kind of consumed his life for a while, and 06 understandably fell by the wayside. I don't know if that mod manager rewrite will materialize or release. I don't expect it to. I don't know if it ever will, but it had some cool features that I was kind of counting on to help with compatibility. Like, you would be able to do line edits to Lua files, which would mean that you can put a little patch in your mod. It's like, hey, edit the Chronos script and add this thing into a table. And then my thing would say, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna load your file based on that. And it would have been great. Because the issue is, at some point, you're gonna have to edit a common file right now if you want to load Chronos everywhere. If you just want to use the libraries, that's fine, and that's most of the stuff, honestly. If you just want some cool mechanics for your stage, no real risk of conflicts there, but I would still like to set this up so that Chronos mods are compatible with each other. And I know Ray's looking into a little bit for that, that might turn out. Yeah, that's the other main holdup. Worst case scenario, I just say, okay, compatibility isn't as high as I would like it to be. Everything works fine, it's just if you're trying to stack mods that use Chronos system. Hit a few snags, but I'll have things in place that I can quickly update and get everything working. That's kind of the main thing on the back end. I don't think it will take too long to set up. Again, with this project here, I've had to fix some bugs with physics, implement some of that backend stuff already for Kronos, just polish it up. Like, again, I mentioned you can script multiple characters, so I had to tweak some of my code to properly support that. A lot of different things. Anyways, I want to yap about this level a bit, because level design is genuinely something that I really enjoy doing, and I just haven't been able to for a little while now, because my projects have been more code-focused. Before this, I did the roguelike for 06, which is released. I did put that out, I just never really made a trailer for it. I could do that at some point. But yeah, levels. So, with this, you got a lot of ways that you can interact with physics to move forward, but it's usually just used as a set piece or something basic like this to remind you that, hey, the mechanic exists. Not required, but it's there for you. So for example, this jump is too far across normally, and you can't quite jump up there. Now, you could use the bound attack to move forward, and I'm fine with that, because there are a lot of areas in this level where, if you're moving fast, you can use bound to keep the pace going. I think bound is an awesome ability, and now you actually have movement during it, so I wanted to lead into that a bit, as just a way to maintain your momentum. There aren't a lot of paths that bound specifically opens up, it just makes your life smoother if you use it well. Alternatively, you can just charge up the spin dash and full send it, which is great. I showed the ledge mechanic before, and of course, a little hidden route here. That item box kind of tricks you into thinking, okay, the route's done, but once you learn about ledge grabs, you can, might notice that ledge sticking out there. However, physics level design is really fun, because in addition to all this, there are also some just absolutely crackhead routes that end up existing. For example, you can make it up there just using these two objects. I don't know if I'll get it here, maybe I'll, like, splice in a clip of it, because it is pretty hard to do. But if you hit this platform just right, you'll angle it as a slope, and then you can use that for increased jump height, and then you can homing attack into this wall, do it again off the debris, and that gives you just enough height to make it up there. I'm gonna go for it real quick. Wow, not even close. But, give you an example. If I'm homing attack that a couple times, I almost get there. So if I hit the platform just right to angle it, get the slope jump, make it up, oh, it's fun. It's fun. But again, I think there's a tendency in, you know, like mods that do object layouts or even their own custom levels to just kind of throw alternate routes everywhere. It's like, oh man, Sonic's all about replay value and all these different ways you can move through a level. And yes, kind of, but I think it kind of loses the plot a lot of the time. If you give the player too many options, then it's not fun either. Because Sonic games are about replaying the level to optimize your time. So if you have a bunch of super distinct alternate routes that all take you to different areas of the stage and then randomly spit you out at the end, it gets really hard in Time Attack to figure out, you know, what route's even fast? How should I be moving through this? And, you know, even just on, like, a casual playthrough, you don't get a good sense of the level. So with this, I've got a few routes that, you know, I intend you to take. Like, if you're playing casually, you're probably going to go up here. You're probably going to do platforming here, and that creates a nice little, bit of verticality in the level design. Started down there, climbed up some ledges, made it to this middle route. Now you're at the top. You go all the way over here, and you make it to this dash panel. And that sends you to a ramp. Now, this is another fun thing that I found with physics. I can just throw a ramp in here, and that gives you like 5 different ways to approach this section. So, you could use this as a slope for a slope jump. And that can give you just enough height to reach up there. You could the dash panel and take it through the dash ring right there. You can build up speed with like a spin dash or drop dash or whatever, roll off this incline, use it to water bounce over there, or maybe use this dash panel and decide, I don't want the dash ring, send me up here. That's just one ramp. There are a few other cases of that, like down here. you'll notice this is slightly tilted. Again, one of the mechanics in physics is that if you roll off an upwards incline, and there is some restrictions on it, but if you get that vertical speed while you're rolling and you hit the ground, you'll do a water bounce. Let's see if that's enough for this. Okay, I got a little too much speed there. I messed it up at the end, but that's an example, you know? If you realize that, hey, I have a slope there, I can just make my own route through the level. If you had enough speed, you could do it off of that up there. You can do it right here if you... Let's try it with Blue Gem. I'm not sure if I'll restrict Blue Gem in this, because it really does give you insane speed. But look at that, that's fun. I didn't stick the landing there, but there are even more examples. And I think this is when alternate routes are cool. Because this is just stuff that you can do as a player. You're not necessarily expected to, but it is a way for you to engage with the level if you understand the layout and if you understand the controls of the game. Like, I'm going to see if I can land this. It's pretty hard to do. Enough speed. Little too far. Probably see what I'm going for. Really? Aw, man. That was close, though. That was close. If you hit that second bird, you'll get just enough height to be able to make it over on top of that. But you don't even have to engage with that, you know? Maybe you bounce off the enemy, this first enemy over here, and you say, let me make it over to here. Yes. You can do that. Heck, if you have enough speed, like for Blue Gem, you don't even necessarily need to do that. You can just make it. I think that's when level design in Sonic games is kind of at its best. I mean, it might be a bit extreme here with all of what you can do, but these are routes that feel satisfying to learn, and they don't really break the flow too much, because it's not something that you're going to do on your first playthrough. This is never presented as the obvious option. It's not even the easiest one, a lot of the time, but it's a thing that you can do, and it's stylish, and it's fast, and it's fun. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, physics is never really mandatory throughout this. Like, if you take that, it'll send you right over here. I messed the swing off the vine up. If you time it just right, you can make it up there, and there are some more ramps you can be up there. Actually, I have free cam. What am I doing? Yeah, you can go up here. Then maybe you use a drop dash, roll off this, and take it over to there. Or you angle yourself and you make it up here to this higher point. Got another route there. There are more ways to get up there, but you know. If you understand your environment, you can really just break this level in half, but in the best way possible. There are even just little... It's here, like this tree. It looks like just environmental design, but let's see if I can land this. It's right. Boom. That's just off of drop dashing. Or maybe going back to this alternate route that I showed off over here. Not sure I trust this through there, but go for it. Oh, I shouldn't have trusted it. Shouldn't have trusted it. That's fine, I'll backtrack a little bit. Definitely in ramble mode at this point, but I just like showing off what you can do with this level. And even with everything I'm showing here, there is still more to it. This level has ended up being so dense, but I think in a good way. It has never really felt like confusing to go through, and obviously I'm going to be biased a bit because I'm who made it. I know what the routes are. But there's a pretty good linear progression that you'll get if you're just following it through. But if you're replaying it and you really understand what you're doing, gosh, you can just zoom through this thing in no time flat. Let's see if I can get this here. Bounce off of you, jump, and we're up here. Like, that's sick. I love that. Enemies are no longer just a way to get score or a little obstacle in your path. every enemy is potentially a thing for you to bounce off of and use as a new platform. You could probably bounce or roll off of there, bounce off of this guy, and I don't know, maybe fly up there or something. Bounces are pretty strong. If you're over here, you know, you got the platforming off of that log, but oh wait, spin dash carries speed. Let me just go over here. There's also a lot of care taken to make sure that replays are smooth. If you're going along the intended route, again, things are going to be slower, because you're probably exploring, so I want to lean into that a bit more. Give you a slightly more cinematic or adventurous feel. Like, you can bounce off that lily pad twice and homing attack over here. But that's slow. That's not going to be fun on repeat playthroughs. You bounce off of it once, and now you're up here. But maybe you don't want to interact with the lily pad at all. So what if you just let's attack over there? Or even better, again, understanding the layout, just spin dash. Clear this with a bounce. You're going on the quote-unquote intended path, and you go over here, you're going to have a kind of slow lily pad adventure. But there are a few ways around that. You got that vine over there. Suggests a path, but you don't have an obvious way to get over to it. Gives you something to look forward to on a repeat playthrough. Or if you're down here, get it just right, you can skip it entirely. There are so many things like that in this level. Again, I'm not showing it all off. It would take way too long, and this is already over 20 minutes. But this is just one example of the layouts that are in this project. And I do use the plural because there are going to be multiple of these. Not too many. Again, I'm not trying to have this thing take ages. It's already taken long enough. But it's a good opportunity for me to mess around with physics level design, stress test a lot of mechanics, and just show stuff off. I think it's going to be really, really fun. We have a nice little view of tropical jungle here at sunset or dusk. You may notice a gem over there. There is another cinematic that starts up. Go over there. Not sure if I'm going to show it off. I don't know. If you've sat through like 22 minutes already, it probably deserves something, so yeah, let's show off another cinematic. Again, these aren't masterpieces. I'm no cinematographer, but I just think it's cool that you can do stuff like this in 06, man. I just think it's neat. I've tried not to go overboard on those within the mod. There is definitely a easy trap to fall into when you get a cool new piece of tech. It's like, ooh, I just want to use this everywhere. I just want to show it off. It's so cool what you can do. And then that can make the final product feel a lot worse overall. So, trying to avoid that. Trying not to go too overboard on it, but I like having them here and there. I like having mid-level cutscenes like that. Again, that one transitioned into the end of the stage, but it doesn't have to. Sky's really the limit with the tools we have right now. So, yeah, that's about it. Just want to ramble for a little bit, up a bit more. This is something I love discussing. Hope that takes up a little bit for not having the June release date there. Again, believe me, I'm trying to get this out as soon as I can. But I'm not going to compromise the product, just hit a release date that is entirely self-inflicted. Don't give it, I don't know, it's late, it's going on like 2 a.m. right now. Words are failing me. But this is a hobby, and I want this project to be cool. I'm not strictly beholden to a deadline due to it being a hobby, so I just want to make the coolest thing that I can. But again, not gonna stick this in like development hell or whatever. This is coming soon. Anyways, have a good night, day, or whatever. Thank you for watching. Oh, right, Legacy of Solaris compatibility, because that gets asked a lot. Yes, it's going to be there. I know they're planning on redesigning a lot of the layouts to accommodate physics as well. Don't know if I'll be able to help with that or not. But, yeah, LOS should be compatible. The goal of physics is that you can just stack it with other mods. They might have to make very minor changes to enable some of the Chrono stuff, but we're talking like literally 1 or 2 lines of code. LOS edits a lot more, so it takes a little bit longer to set it up, but yeah. It won't be integrated directly, as in, you won't have physics code in the Legacy of Solaris mod, because that would cause issues if I end up having to update or bug fix this or whatever, which I probably will. But you'll install physics, you'll install Legacy of Solaris, and it will just kind of work. If they want to customize things a bit more, they'll be able to include physics param files. That goes for any mod developer. And that'll let you tweak things on the fly, character by character, stage by stage, or maybe for the mod as a whole. But yeah, goal is to make this as compatible as it can be. Want this to be the kind of mod that you just set on. If you're playing Sonic 06, have this mod on. Anyway, that's it for real. Goodbye.